Hi guys, and welcome back to another video on the Hunts and Bugs channel. Today we're going to get straight into it. We're going to be talking about the Champions League and specifically who each of us think are dark horses for this year's competition. And when we say dark horses, we don't necessarily mean someone who we think is going to win the competition. We just think someone who people aren't expecting to go as far as we think they will do. So say they're a team that aren't well known as being a very good side and they might get to the quarters and just drop out, or even the semis as well. So we're going to pick one each today and give our justifications.
Yeah, and this is recorded on the eve of the Champions League tonight. Obviously, we're recording this on a Tuesday night, so Arsenal are yet to play. City playing tonight?
No, we've got Leipzig tomorrow away from home.
Yeah, so Arsenal are yet to play tonight. But we'll kick it off with, before we go into dark horses, who do you think is going to win the competition? And for me, I believe that Bayern Munich are going to be that team. I think that it's going to be a bit too much for City to go back to back. I do think they'll make the latter stages, and I do think they'll probably win it next year. But I do think it's probably a bit too much to go back to back, just especially when they're going to be competing on the Prem front, and they've just come off the back of the treble. So for me, I personally think that it will be Bayern Munich that will probably win. They've obviously just got Harry Kane. It'll be great for him, and it'll prove to everyone in English football that Bayern Munich wasn't a weird step for Harry Kane. It was definitely a step up, which I think weirdly people criticise that move as it weren't Real Madrid or it weren't Barcelona, but like it is still Bayern Munich. They are a top five big club in the world. So yeah, I mean Bayern Munich will probably win the Champions League, and that's my opinion. Who do you think is going to win it?
I genuinely think it will be City again. I just think bar the last couple of fixtures that results that we've had, Premier League against Wolves, Cup against Newcastle. I think the way we've been playing already with certain absentees such as De Bruyne and John Stones, who were integral last year for us doing well. I think when they come back, Kevin De Bruyne being in January, it seems, or maybe mid-December, right as just before the Champions League knockout stages begin, and obviously John Stones maybe within a month or so. I just think them coming back will turn us back into what we were last year. And obviously we've got the additions of Gvardiol as well, and Doku and Nunes, who I think has done quite well so far as well.
But I'll caveat that City don't have the clutch players that they did have, e.g. Gundogan, who played a massive part in getting you over the line.
I mean, we still have Rodri. Rodri has been massively clutch for us. I'd say he's probably
Yeah,
the clutch player for us last season. So I would say there's that. And also, I just think we're even more controlling in the way we are with the ball now, because now with Gvardiol at the back, he's so good on the ball, so
yeah,
physical. I think we're arguably better defensively. But
fair
should
enough.
we get into our dark horses?
We'll get into the dark horse as well. I think my caveat for a dark horse is a bit different. No one expects them to win, and from the financial situation and from where they have been, personally, my dark horse that I've selected that I'll talk about in a second is Barcelona.
Right. Okay.
That said, I think if you're going to go for a more traditional meaning of a dark horse, because obviously Barcelona are a massive, massive club, you're going to go for a more traditional dark horse. I like the look of Benfica a lot,
Right.
and they
Okay.
played really well in the Champions League last season. I don't think they're going to win it, but I think they could go quite far in the competition. They
Mhm.
obviously have on I think, did they play tonight, if I'm not mistaken? I might be wrong there. Yeah, they play Inter Milan today at 8 o'clock, and they just look like a solid outfit.
Right.
You could also say Sociedad in the same boat. But moving on, I think Barcelona are going to win the Champions League. Why? Because they seem to be clicking into gear. These are my dark horses. No one expects them because of all the turmoil that's gone on in the club. Because let's be honest, they've been selling the rights to absolutely anyone who would take them.
Yeah.
There's more people run through Barcelona for rights than down the red light district in Amsterdam. Like it's mental. They're selling it to absolutely anyone they can, and absolutely everyone that they can. And they're selling the soul to be able to keep as an established football club because of how bad they were run.
Yeah.
And a lot of their business has gone under the radar. You look at Gundogan, a lot of free agents, a lot of older players. I mean, in recent years, they've even had like Aubameyang rock up and be loved there, and Adama Traore as a front two. So I don't think their squad is any way a favourite for the competition, especially when you look at Real Madrid and their personnel. Obviously, Barcelona did well in the league last year, so that is a caveat. I think they won the La Liga, but they certainly were the best team in La Liga last year, and they don't have necessarily the star-studded names. They've obviously got the likes of Christiansen from Chelsea, like it's Christiansen. Do you know what I mean? But they do have that star power throughout the squad, littered still like Frankie De Jong, a solid spine. They've got Xavi, who's obviously a very competent manager. They're playing quite attacking football. They're looking good defensively. I think last season they had the best defense in the league. They've got one of the best defenses because it's well drilled. So Stegen was playing out of his skin last season, who before that in his career had not really done well in terms of XG shots saved. He'd necessarily been an underperformer, but now last season he's overperformed. And I just think Barcelona probably are my dark horses for the competition. So I think they will have a massive chance of winning the Champions League.
Yeah, I do see that, to be fair. I think Barcelona are going under the radar just because how they've dropped out of the Champions League so easily in the past few seasons. And then obviously they've had the massive financial troubles. I think it's very easy to say, right, Barcelona, everything here is leaning towards them either going out early or going out early in the knockouts. Yeah, I do like that idea. Right, so I'll go on to my one now. And it's funny because you have already mentioned them, and it's Real Sociedad. Real Sociedad are my dark horses for this competition. And one of the things I love about Real Sociedad is I just feel like they're clustered with really underrated players, like players your average football fan might not know of, like Oyarzabal. They've got Bryce Mendes in midfield. They've also got Baranetsea. It's a very tough name to pronounce.
He's a young one. The likes of Kubo, who did that twerking celebration the other day.
Yeah, and you got Mikel Merino in midfield as well, who's a very solid midfielder. I mean, they're fifth in La Liga at the moment. They're not doing too well. They did get fourth last year in the to get into the Champions League, which is brilliant for them. But they've got a draw against Inter, and they've won just before we filmed this video here actually against Salzburg 2-0. And I just think I really do see them going through that group. From what I remember, they've got Salzburg, Benfica, and Inter in that group. I see them and Inter going through actually. But I actually think they could top that group. I do definitely think they could top that group. Because I think while Inter did get to the Champions League final last year, I think the way they play with a sort of three at the back, it's very reliant on a couple players performing every week, sort of Lautaro and Martinez, and then Thuram actually they brought in. So I'm not sure whether they're going to be able to sustain a high level.
My only thing about Sociedad, outside of say, and if you look at the bench, for that Salzburg game, if you look outside of sort of Andre Silva and also Zachariah, they do not really have that much depth. That's the only thing that you could put against them because the first team they've lined up with is actually decent. Like Alex Romero, Traore, I can't pronounce the name, but it's Zubeldia, you know what I mean? Yeah. Lenormand, Munoz, Mendes, Zubimendi, who's been linked with quite a host of large clubs around the world. Marino, Barak Teixeira, that guy who's the wonder kid, I know who he is, but like I can't pronounce that name. Kubo and Oyarzabal. They've got a very talented technical squad, and they could go far. The only thing that could bring them down is that depth because it isn't the greatest.
Yeah.
They have been lining up. I looked through before when we were thinking of clubs to talk about. They have been lining up in a 4-4-2, which is obviously a bit traditional, but it's not because they have the wingers Barrett Teixeira coming from the left to the left wing. So yeah, I mean it's a good shout.
Yeah, I do actually fancy them. I do really like them actually. They are my sort of like, if I had to pick a Spanish team, I'd probably say them. I don't know, there's just something about them that's a little bit unique. I don't really think it's the first time that I can remember them being in the Champions League anyway. So I think that they've got all the aspects to be a very good underdog this year with sort of very promising players, and then also not really been a key feature considering it's usually been Sevilla who's taken up the fourth slot for La Liga.
Yeah, and I think they're two good shouts. But yeah, I've got to get off and watch Arsenal now. So thank you for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe. See you next time. Bye. Goodbye.